Welcome to the launch of the JAAA Super Inventors National Senior Championships 2014. We at the JAAA are pleased to know that we could pull away from your TVs, a few of us, at this time to attend the press launch for the 2014 National Championships. Those who are here, I'm sure that your presence here this morning does not in any way suggest a lack of interest in the remainder of the 2014 FIFA World Cup, but more so, your presence reflects the strong interest in world athletics in general and Jamaica's athletics in particular. Thank you all for coming. I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that the National Championships 2014 serve to select athletes for the Commonwealth Games this year, NACAC Under 23 this year, and the Pan Am Senior Championships this year.
Today marks the launch of our 2014 National Senior Trials. Last week we had our National Junior Trials at the stadium, and this was to choose our juniors who would be going to represent us at the World Juniors in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, and also those who will be representing us at the CSE Junior Games in Morelia, Mexico. For the seniors, these trials will be used as selections for the NACAC Under 23 Games in Kamloops, Canada, the Commonwealth Games, and the Pan Am Under 23 Games, and the NACAC Under 23. Now, over 300 of our senior athletes have applied for entry into these games. And this includes Asafa Powell and Sharon Simpson, who was recently in the news. And last year at our trials, they had tested positive, and they were given an 18-month suspension by JAAA's disciplinary panel. And they have had a stay of their suspension by the Court of Arbitration of Sports to allow them to compete at the trials, so that in the event their ban gets lifted, when the case is formally heard at CAS later in July, they'll be able to compete at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. And so the principle of being punished twice for one offense would not apply if such is the case. Well, if when it goes to CAS, their suspension is upheld, then they would not be allowed to compete at the Commonwealth Games because they would still be under suspension at the time. Most of our senior athletes have in fact applied to compete at our trials, and in fact the only two notable names so far who have not applied is Usain Bolt, who we know has been suffering with injury problems, and Johan Blake, and we are expecting that by the end of today Johan Blake would be entered, and we are hopeful for that. And we also have in the audience who have failed to recognize our bronze medalists from London 2012, Hansa Parchment. Who I expect great things from again this year, now that he goes back to the motherland. And the Commonwealth Games, as we said, we expect that our team will continue to do well, as we have always done at the Commonwealth Games, because this year I expect that we'll be taking one of our strongest teams in quite a long time to the Commonwealth Games. And this is underlined by the fact that, as I said before, most of our senior athletes have in fact indicated a willingness, which is not usually the case for Commonwealth Games, but this year is special, and we are going to go and totally dominate the Commonwealth Games in the track and field category. I once again want to recognize all our sponsors and our partners, because we are really aiming more for partnerships than sponsorships. And we have entered into partnerships with Supreme Ventures Limited, the Television Jamaica Media Group, the Gleaner Company, Wisinco, Nissan, and a number of other sponsors. And we hope that this sponsorship will continue to grow and continue to assist the growth of track and field in this country. And as Lodi said, for all of you who took time out from the World Cup schedule to show your love for track and field, we thank you all for coming.
We're once again proud to be partnering with the JAAAs for the 11th year of the staging of the National Senior Championships. Our sponsorship or partnership has started way back in 2004. That is long before Jamaica was so dominant at the world stage. So, you know, when you see everybody jumping up and down now, you know, we've been there from the get-go, and we will be there for a very long time to come. As last year, we've signed a memorandum of understanding with the J3s to at least sponsor for the next 3 years that will take us up to the Olympics. Thereafter, negotiations will once again take place, and as Mr. Watt stated, I think we'll be here for a very, very, very long time. We pride ourselves as a company with the sport of track and field. We've seen what it could have been from the get-go, hence the reason we're still here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's gonna be another year of exciting track and field. When I look at the entries, knowing that Usain and Johan Blake has not entered, or, well, we're still expecting Johan to enter, I believe that we're in for 4 days of exciting competition. The rivalry will still continue, so we expect our sporting fans, even the ones who will sit around the television sets for the remainder of the World Cup, to just take a break from the TV and come to the National Stadium and, you know, enjoy the 4 days of competition that we will have on offer. This year, our commitment is $10 million, and I'm sure next year you will.
Now, and for the benefit of the public, tickets will go on sale on Tuesday, the 24th, and tickets will be sold in locations: Pegasus Stadium, Ticket Office, and York Pharmacy. $3,000 for season tickets. Thursdays, $300, just $300 for Thursdays, it's a short program. Fridays, $1,200 in grandstand, $1,000, $1,200 and $1,000, and bleachers, $500. Saturday, grandstand $800, $700, no bleachers. Sunday, grandstand $1,200, $1,000, no bleachers. The events will start on the Thursday, one event in the morning at 10 o'clock for some eliminations for the 100 meters, and then from 6:05 to 7:30 for some 400 meter hurdles and 100. On the second day, we'll start at 5:30 and finish at 9:25. That is Friday. That's when you'll have the 100 meters run, the 400 meters hurdles. There will be a lot of world-class events on those days. As Dr. Blake pointed out, nearly all the athletes have sent in entries, so we'll get a very competitive event. On the Saturday, we start at 6:20 and then we finish at 8:50. And on Sunday, we start at 5 p.m. and finish at 7:35. So overall, we'll be having world-class track and field at the lowest possible price. When you go overseas, you see the type of prices that are paid for tickets in these events, over $200 US, $300 US. I'm not comparing it to Brazil, but to get tickets in Brazil now for those matches like $1,200 US for the lower end tickets. So you'll understand, when we have the finest athletes in the world, good organizing structure, very good officials, and we are offering that type of prices. That is something that we all ought to go and see, because many people across the world want to come to Jamaica because of our athletes, because of people like Parchment, bronze medalist in the Olympics, or Shane, former national champion about 4 years ago, 2010. So